A warm welcome to Anuradha Vedic Astrology. Today we are going to talk about Prashna. Yes, one of my all-time favorites. But before we begin, a big thanks to all of you for liking, sharing and subscribing to our YouTube and Spotify videos and writing in your comments and suggestions there. If you have not subscribed to us, please do, and do remember to press the bell icon so that you can get the updates ASAP. Today we are going to talk about a Prashna that helps us understand what career that one wants, or really if what one is seeking to take up, can that relate to a career. It is a very different choice. Somebody wanted to know what is the instrument they should learn that can help them to grow it in a career. First and foremost, we have to check out if there is a possibility of somebody taking up music as a career or not in that Prashna chart. And then we will go on to venture and see if any instrument can be understood or seen from the Prashna chart. Here I would like to stress on a couple of points. What is it that I would like to tell you people? First and foremost, if in the Prashna chart there is an indication which is very strong, but there is no indication in the natal chart, then the things start at a moment but may not fructify. But to this I will add a disclaimer that my doing Prashna in the last 15-18 years has taught me. It has taught me very clearly that when we do Prashna, there is amazingly, and I do not know if it is coincidence or whatever it is, but what I have seen in a very wonderful manner is that it does reflect in your chart also. So, the person who got this Prashna done from me also got the chart reading on a later date done by me. Let us see, let us begin with the Prashna. As I recall and as I repeat, the Prashna that was asked was, what is the instrument that I should learn so that I can take it up professionally later on? Well, the chart that I drew up came to something like this. But before that, you need to understand that music is seen from the 3rd house and the 5th house. The 3rd house being the house of change, hobbies, writing, something to do with your hands, and the 5th house which is to do with your hobbies, with your passion, with your love interest and skill development. What are the planets that are involved here? Venus is your planet which gives you interest in the so-called arts, and Mercury is the one that gives you a dexterity. Mercury is the one that gives you a aptitude to be able to do something for your career or to do something to learn these arts. So, these two planets become very important. There are a number of Nakshatras also involved, which are involved with music, say Shravana, Dhanishta, Rohini, Mriksira. So, all these I have discussed in detail in my career in music video, where I have taken up totally the musical career. But before I begin that, or I would rather suggest you go there and you see that video also. Let us come back to the Prashna chart here. Having said this, I will always tell you that it is important to also pay a strong heed on the Lagna and the moon. Why the Lagna? If there is a strong connect between the Lagna and the Prashna, that means its capability of fructifying is great for you. Now, when we talk about moon, moon means your mind, what you are thinking. Does it work in that same direction? Well, if it does, the chances of everything falling together and you moving in a particular direction will definitely give you results. So, let us begin with our Prashna for today. So, the Prashna that I talk to you here now for the musical Prashna, here you see in this chart, the Lagna comes from Scorpio. I would also be taking up the Nakshatras. Why the Nakshatras? You will be able to see how pinpointed answers they give us. In this, you see that the Lagna comes from Jyeshtha. Jyeshtha Nakshatra in itself talks about moving without any fear in an uncharted territory. We see in the 3rd house is moon. I told you people that the 3rd house was important. and here we see the moon sitting in the nakshatra of Dhanishta. Dhanishta incidentally is the nakshatra where we find musical instruments as its symbols. Then we talk about the placement of Venus. Venus is placed in the 9th house and it is placed in the sign of Cancer. This Venus is placed in Aslesha Nakshatra, the nakshatra of plentiful, the nakshatra of abundance, and yet a nakshatra which says transition for anybody is not going to be easy. Let's talk about Mercury. The Mercury is present in the 10th house as the 11th and the 8th lord. Is it a coincidence? Definitely not. The charts, the nature is trying to tell a person that as in 11th lord in the 10th house, the person's desire to convert your talent into a profession is very much possible, applicable, and the person can definitely venture in that territory. Then we talk about Mercury in the nakshatra. It's in the nakshatra of Purv Falguni, the nakshatra of skill developments. As I told you, the 5th house also talks about skill developments. So the person can do a lot of skill development as we see it. Then finally we see the 10th lord and the Lagna lord, which is in the 11th house of wish fulfillment. There could not have been a better configuration, and this simply tells us that the person will move greatly in the direction that he so desires to move, that is learning an instrument. Now when we talk about learning the instrument, which he asked, which is the instrument that he should learn? Well, most of us would not be, in fact even it took me some time to understand how to say which instrument, but looking at the 3rd house, the moon in Dhanishta, the choice was very clear. What was the choice? The choice was either percussions by way of drums or flute, because that is what Dhanishta Nakshatra says. Now this is something that I want to tell you one thing very closely attached. This nakshatra, this entire Prashna shows that the person can and should take up that music, because to get answers this clearly, it could not have been more clear than that. So when the person again after a couple of days, after a few days, came back and said that wanted to get the entire chart read, I did do the reading, and coincidentally I find that he does have in his chart a strong 3rd house, a strong 5th house. When you find these planets being so operative for you, it is important that you take a call and you move into a better direction, and the person will be able to conquer that territory, that fear, that the trepidation that the person is feeling, and the person will move greatly into the field of music. Till we meet with you again, stay safe and do write into us. Thank you.
Please hit the bell icon for fresh updates. Don't forget to like, share and comment on the videos, and please subscribe to our channel.